Hi everyone, this is Lethos again. This video is just going to be a quick little video showing my UI as a whole. Uh, I've been promising it for a while, so I figured I might as well finally do it. Anyway, let's start off with our basic row here. Rapid Shots is number one. It's probably my most used ability. Not only does it help with supercharged gas, it also does a decent amount of damage or healing if you have no other options. If you're running up to somebody and you've got no instance, it's something good. Or if they're above you and you have to jump to hit them, it's good to use that to heal. Next is Rapid Scan, our biggest heal. Obviously, it's a good spot for 2. Healing Scan is 3. Again, simplistic. 4 is Explosive Dart, which might seem a little weird to you. I use that really often because the heat cost is low, but it does a really decent amount of damage. Plus, it does AoE damage. And most of all, it's one of those abilities you like to have really, really quick. So it's not like a shift key or an alt key or anything. So while it might seem strange, I have it there. It's also good for keeping somebody from stunning you while trying to cap or mezzing you while trying to cap. Anyway, so that's 4. 5 is Koto Missile. I use that really often. As anyone who watches my videos can tell, it's a great instant heal for yourself or people around you. Plus, yeah, it's just a really good heal. Yeah. 6 is Rail Shot. 6 is pretty far on the number pad, so, or number line, which is why I don't mind putting it to something I don't use very often. Well, when it's up, it does a really decent amount of damage for not a lot of heat, so that's why I've got 6 there. Next, I have bound to one of my mouse keys. It's Emergency Scan. It's one of my mouse keys on the left. Right next to Emergency Scan is Power Surge, which is your instant ability. That's a shift left mouse key for me. It's something that you want to be able to use quickly, but at the same time I don't want to waste a hotkey that could be used for something else with it. These aren't bound. The next 4, Ricotta Reflex Stem. I use that pretty often. Sprint is here from before it was toggleable. I probably should move that eventually, but it's there right next to my Hunter's Boon, which, I mean, every time you die you need to recast that. So, and then Determination, which is bound to the tilde key, which is the one to the left of 1. I should probably put that over here at some point, but I'm too lazy and I can easily see it there, so that's that. Alright, next row, we've got Fusion Missile, which is Control 1. Fusion Missile is really good to use with Thermal Sensor Override, which means it costs no heat. It's a great AoE attack, plus it's good for casting somebody in stealth, or who can go stealth and you think might, because it gives them a 6-second dot, which prevents them from doing anything, or from going stealth and then popping out on you. Next we have Unload, Control 2. I use this pretty often, but again, not often enough to really justify a main key. Control 3 is Rocket Punch, also something I use really often. I find Control a lot easier to use than Alt or Shift, personally. I don't know why, it's just Control is easier for me. Shift seems too big and clunky, so that's why I'm using the Control keys here. And Control 4 is Electro Dart, which I have no problem pressing Control 4 really quickly to stun somebody. So as long as you don't have an issue with that, then that's good. Lastly, Control 5, Vent Heat. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Next we have Alt 1, which is Missile Blast. It's not the greatest keybind, but at the same time it's not something I use very often. The reason I don't like using Missile Blast to say interrupt somebody is because it has a flight time, so it takes a second before it hits. So if you've got like 3 dudes trying to cap a door in Void Star and none of them are past 5 seconds or so, then you can use Missile Blast because it'll hit them all. But if they're at like 8 seconds, then you should just use Rapid Shots. Next, Shift E, which is Thermal Sensor Overload. As you'll see later, E is my supercharged gas, so the two of them are kind of similar-ish. So yeah. Anyway, now we've got my med packs, and which this is another button on my mouse. I've got a Rat7 mouse made by Cats, whatever they're called. Yeah, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's got 3 buttons on the side, plus it's got a horizontal scroll wheel. So one of the smaller buttons on the side I have bound to my Warzone med pack. My Ricotta Attack Adrenal, I don't use this very often because it's mostly a PvE thing, but it's shift, and then the horizontal wheel on my mouse, it's shift right. My relic is the horizontal wheel to the left, and then we've got my Warzone Expertise Adrenal, which is the horizontal wheel to the right. The reason this is down arrow 1 and 2 is because you had to rebind keys to the side of the mouse in order to make it work. So these are numpad keys right here, and then the down arrow is something I obviously never use. So yeah. And lastly, got recharge and reload, which isn't bound to anything. It's just there. If we come over to the right here, we've got concussion missile, which is my middle mouse button. Yeah, there's not much to say there. Middle mouse button isn't great for attacks you use often because it's kind of clunky, but for concussion missile, it serves me really well. Something on a 6-second or 60-second cooldown. Below that, we've got Ricotta Med Pack, which I don't have bound to anything, which I really should get around to binding at some point, because it's got a lower cooldown than the Warzone one until the next patch. Yeah, so you should bind that. I'm kind of a noob for not. Anyway, next we've got Cure, which is my final mouse button on the left side of my mouse. It's something that originally I didn't use very often until I bound it to something I knew I was going to use often. So now that I have it there, I use it a lot more than I used to. I used to have it like Shift 3 or something. Next we've got Shift and one of the left mouse buttons to throw a cartel waste grenade, which I don't have any at the moment. It slows people down or stuns depending on which grenade you want. It can be useful, but it's got a really short range and it's kind of clunky. So I don't use it very often, but eventually I should get more used to it because it could be the difference of a win and a loss in Void Star especially. Next we got Koto Shell, which is bound to F. I use Koto Shell really often right now because I recast it a lot. Next patch I probably won't be since it's going to cost 16 heat, but for now it's got F. Q is my energy shield. That's something really close to my WASD keys because it's something I need to pop instantly often. And right next to that is supercharged gas, again something I want to pop instantly often, so that's E. Below that we've got T, which is throw the hot ball. It's something that needs to be close and you need to know where it is on your keyboards because sometimes you only have the split second to pass before you die or whatnot. Below that is V is flamethrower. V is kind of out there on the keyboard, so I use flamethrower for it because sometimes if there's somebody in front of you, you can AoE them. I mean, it's not the greatest ability, but it does have its rare uses. Below that is C for sweeping blasters. Sweeping blasters is great for stopping people from interrupting a door, or excuse me, from defusing a bomb. Or if somebody's on the other side of a pillar, like say somebody's behind this box here, and I'm here, and pretend this box is a turret, you can attack here and I'll hit the guy behind the pillar. Plus it's an instant attack, unlike one of my missiles. So next we got Jet Boost, which is X. I've got that right below WASD because it's one of those things you want to use instantly when it's up. Then to the left of that is Death from Above, which is Z. Last but not least, we've got a few things over here. G is Stealth Scan, something that you have to be able to activate really, really quickly, and I'm completely good with hitting G on the spot. It's right at the edge of my finger range, which I've got fairly large hands, so if you don't, you might not want to put something under G. And then B, which is something I never use, just for show, is that thing that lowers your threat. That's a PvE thing. It just looks pretty. Next, these aren't bound. My 3 cylinders are just over here, chilling out in case I ever need them. Under that, I've got Power Shot as Shift 1. It's my only Shift key that I have like a main ability keyed to. I'll stop moving. It's probably distracting. Yeah, so Shift 1 is the only, boom, 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 whenever I pop supercharged gas. Below that is Shift 2, which is the Coriolis Prince, or my mount. Yeah, this is something easy to hit when I want to mount somewhere. Below that is Shoulder Slam, which PvE and useless. It's been there since I was level like 25. And then last but not least, Koto Overload, which is an ability I do not use nearly as often enough as I should. It restores 15% of your max health over 10 seconds. Yeah, I should think about binding that to something a little more noticeable. Maybe I'll change it to like F for maybe one of my shift mouse keys later on, so I get more used to using it. It's a good free heal when all else fails. Then we got just emergency fleet pass underneath that and quick travel. So I hope you enjoyed checking out my UI. If you have any questions about it, feel free to post. Once the next patch comes out, I'm going to be completely redoing how everything looks, because we'll be able to customize the UI. I had a lot of fun beta on the, not beta, on the public test server the other day, just checking out what you can do. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to get rid of a lot of this PvE crap that we don't need. Anyway, that's that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.